Look, what is that? It's gone.
This is the most unique science project of its kind.
Can't wait to see what we're gonna find.
I'm Dr. Travis Taylor. I'm a scientist and a physicist, and I've got 25 years or more experience.
Hey, Brandon, how you doing?
Brandon Fugel.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
The new owner of Skinwalker Ranch. Thank you for coming together. This is the most unique science project of its kind. Our 512 acres lies in the center of the Uinta Basin.
The Native American people, for generations, referred to this property as being in the path of the Skinwalker.
One of the first things that we captured, a 500-foot section of the mesa became totally illuminated. These columns of light that have appeared above the mesa. There is also the bright luminous object that came into view in the western sky and disappeared behind the mesa. And it traveled at a speed that was not consistent with typical aircraft.
We've noticed that when we bring new people onto the ranch behaves differently than it normally does.
I'm not sure what we're gonna find, but I can't wait to see what we're gonna find.
Great.
Out on the mesa, we're using these electric field measurement devices called tri-field meters, and they measure 3 fields. Then it measures radio frequency and microwaves, which is an electromagnetic dynamic field. The biggest thing that piqued my interest was the amount of energy in these microwaves we're measuring was getting close to dangerous levels. That's significant. And the direction continued to change. It's possible that exposure to radioactive fallout could cause people to have strange symptoms, maybe even hallucinations.
I've spent a ton of time here. I know for a fact, start digging, that's the trigger. You know, I heard about not digging as soon as I came onto the property. It goes back to previous owners of the property. They said that when you dig or disturb the earth, that is what seemed to trigger whatever phenomenon is here and caused harm.
Having been a person that's done a lot of digging on this ranch, the more serious of digging I do, the more serious of consequences that follow. I didn't believe in the paranormal when I came out on this ranch, and I paid a pretty hefty price. One day I decided to do some digging, and then 3 days after, I noticed that I had a goose egg on the back of my head. My scalp separated from my skull. The pain is so excruciating. I've never felt anything like it before in my life. The doctors had no idea what caused it. They didn't know how to fix it. Basically, they're telling me what happened to me was medically impossible. Enough things have happened to myself, to the equipment. It is a possibility that they are correlated.
This is real stuff. You're talking about health and well-being.
Brandon, when we were up on the mesa, the power that we were picking up was on the verge of being dangerous levels.
They want to dig.
You know, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that.
When Brandon said there was no digging on the ranch, I was stunned. How are we gonna get to the bottom of things happening on this place if we can't investigate in every way we can?
I think you'll understand soon why this is a matter of really the highest level of seriousness and sensitivity.
The malfunction on our devices is related to your injury and to the other unpleasant experiences that people have had on this property. Until we have done all the non-invasive work, I don't think we're ready to start digging.
There's no data that's been on the table that tells us digging is correlated to anything that causes events.
You guys should get just straight over here. We found some stuff you're gonna wanna see.
While Tom Winterton and I are taking a tour of the ranch, we get this emergency call.
The sinkhole is right over here. Obviously, Thomas knows.
The sinkhole, myself as well as several other individuals that I was there to witness have had experiences when we climbed down inside that hole.
So while we're up on the mesa scanning for radiation,
Yeah, my knees are starting to tremble.
my body starts reacting to something, and I feel like I'm gonna pass out.
Dude, I will tell you, my phone battery just went.
Your battery's dead on your phone?
Yeah.
Huh.
Your battery's dead too, ain't it?
It shut off.
Well, here we are, day 2, and we're already experiencing more crazy stuff.
I was not expecting that at all. Later that day, Dragon, Jim Segala, Tom Winterton, and I decided to do a good old-fashioned stakeout near the mesa. So we're all hoping that by staying up all night, we'll be able to see and record firsthand strange lights and glowing effects that people have reported seeing over the years.
Well, look, the top looks less like a silhouette now than it did before. It's right here, right?
Now I'm seeing this thing glow at night with my own eyes. This mesa is really glowing.
And then we notice out of the ground in front of the mesa, this beam comes up through the sky and tracks something. There it is again. It is clearly a beam going across there. There's something clearly over the ridge.
What is that? See him really get swole up any? Or is it just... So when out there, it was right here, and now it's just right here.
He needs to be in the car right now on the way to the emergency room. We're not playing a game here. This happened, we saw phenomena, and the same symptoms are occurring when it put him in the hospital for a week. What did they say at the hospital?
They took me in for a CT scan, and it didn't pick up much. The thing that really caused me alarm is that exact spot where that lump first appeared on my first injury, that's where the pain started. It wasn't until they started looking closer that they started to see similar characteristics.
Well, these are wearable sensor devices, medical grade, will give us the ability to better monitor the health and safety of our team.
So now we have these watches that we're all going to wear. We're going to be monitored 24/7. If something does happen, then we're alerted and brought off the ranch immediately.
I'm not connecting to the remote. I don't know what's happening with it.
Near the old homestead number 2 is an area where we're always having issues with electronic equipment and malfunctions. Something strange happened that caused so much interference that a $35,000 drone couldn't get up in the air.
We figured out the angles that we were detecting energy from the sky at 3 different points.
We took scientifically accurate measurements, and they lead us to a spot somewhere up here over the ranch. That is our next measurement.
Once we figured out that the strange energy source was coming from about a mile above the ranch, I called up a friend of mine, Dr. Matt Turner, and he's an expert in the use of weather balloons. What we're going to do is use a weather balloon with instruments on it to fly it through the point on the ranch where we believe this stuff is coming from.
Oh, that is perfect. Right where it needs to be.
If this experiment is successful, it'll tell us exactly where these energy spikes are occurring and hopefully what's causing them.
This is not updating.
That's strange to me. That's supposed to update every minute.
Crazy that the point where we lost contact with the balloon is at the exact same altitude we calculated the RF energy to be coming from.
So the interpretation of this is there's something above us sending signals down. Today's a pretty big day on the ranch. We have a couple trucks bringing some cattle on, probably around 40 head. So each cow we bring on is another biosensor that we can use for science purposes.
If the history of this property is any guide, I'm very interested to see how these cattle will behave on this ranch. And more importantly, how this ranch will behave with these cattle here.
Let's get this launch ready to go.
Okay, we're hot with the battery.
All right, Caitlin, it's all you. Good.
Look. What is that? What is that?
We got something, hold on.
It's a plane, I think. It's gone.
No, that wasn't a plane. We'd still see it if it was a plane. It's gone. Yes, I saw it. It's gone. What the hell was that?
So far, all the data has been pretty consistent. Some kind of intense RF radiation is coming at us from somewhere high above the ranch.
Oh! Yeah! Good shoot! Do y'all realize what we are looking at here? Not only do we see the event with our eyes, we catch it on video. The cows apparently felt something.
Yes.
Because they moved. And we have scientific instruments corroborating that there is an anomaly in energy at the same time. That is very important data right there.
Since there's so much varied area of Skinwalker Ranch to cover, we decided to use 2 different methods to search below the surface. One is GPR, or ground penetrating radar,
which works by sending radio waves down into the earth that will bounce off any solid objects or structures. And soil resistivity, which does pretty much the same thing, but it uses metal stakes and wires to send electrical currents down into the ground.
We're seeing very interesting multi-layer structures at depths of anywhere from 8 feet below the surface to 24, 25 feet below the surface.
While conducting a ground-penetrating radar test here at Homestead 2, Jim, Zach, and I have just found more evidence of some kind of large object or structure buried several feet underground.
We looked there right there. It's like an entrance or a pipe or something going up. I don't know if I want to say it or not, but I feel like, I don't know, I've got a little bit of a headache or something happening. So why don't we get out of here? Maybe the smell, maybe some mildew or mold or something here.
I wasn't sure what it was, but I realized, you know, I've got this dosimeter in my pocket.
Well, maybe we should check our dose meters or whatever.
This is really scary. My dosimeter device, which measures exposure to ionizing radiation, is showing that I just got hit with 120 millirads per second.
So we need to stop the GPR. Well, let's load the stuff up.
The next day, I noticed weird red marks on my hand and my head. I went to my doctor to get checked out, and he confirmed they were radiation burns. Really anxious to get to the final results of our GPR scans. I marked the high and the low points of the parabolas that we saw on the screen, and once I connected all the dots, the size and shape of the object we found underground became clear. It looked like a giant football or a saucer.
This thing is 1,000 feet long. Wow, I wasn't expecting to see that today. We gotta dig there, or drill at least, take a core sample.
Well, you're gonna have to get Brandon to sign off on that.
Well, I understand that.
There is no way that we proceed with any major activity on that ranch without making sure that we properly assess the risks associated with it.
Yeah, I think we don't have to dig in a major excavation way. What we do is take like auger core samples. And so, you know, something that's a few inches in diameter, we drill down until we get to that first layer.
I don't think we have any choice but to move urgently and find out what is down there. This could change the whole trajectory of this investigation.
Before we start drilling, we want to do one more sweep of the target site. Hopefully, there's no danger of any of us getting sick.
Okay. Nothing. This background.
In the same spot where just last week I got hit by a huge spike of ionizing radiation, Casey and Jim are now getting 0 readings.
I mean, as far as what my meters are seeing, there's nothing there at the moment.
It's almost like, you know, the ranch is like messing with us, you know.
We're ready to dig. We have the right personnel, we hired the right consultants, so we're ready to go.
That's some pretty big drill.
Yeah, this is on Brandon's mandate.
The first hole we're gonna drill today will be at the far end of Homestead 2. Now, Jeremy LeBeau has been instructed to go easy in case we hit something really dangerous. When we pull the core sample up and we look at it, the first thing we're doing is having Casey check it for radioactive material.
There's no radiation or anything there,
Nothing there.
Casey?
Got
All right.
nothing.
So we can keep moving. Are you getting something?
No.
Just normal background?
Background.
All right, well, let's bag it and let's move on to the next one. As we move closer to the GPR anomaly, the core drilling bit is hitting something and it's chattering like crazy. But check that with the meter. Make sure it's not radioactive or anything.
Got nothing.
This stuff doesn't always happen immediately when you dig on the ranch. It can take time.
I hear you. And I agree it doesn't give us carte blanche, just go digging willy-nilly. But maybe it's gonna help us say, look, digging, that may not necessarily be such a heebie-jeebie thing that people think it is.
I can't help but also notice that there's something happening here.
Oh, yeah, there it was. Look at that.
The moment that object appeared above the cow was reacting.
Yes.
Around the spot, there's an area that looks a little bit different.
Halo-ish.
Yeah, and I noticed it when I did an analysis of the Tic Tac video that the Navy has.
My gosh, and the wind's 120 knots from the west. Oh, dude.
The sudden separation of a herd that goes completely as far as they can go in a pasture, leaving the animal that is found mutilated, that's happened many, many times. You're going to find that there are magnetic anomalies. They go together.
I think we're just starting to pull back the curtain with our investigation here at Skinwalker Ranch.
We decided to put a pause on experimentation out there. After being contacted by representatives of the government, including some folks in the intelligence community, it was clear to me that someone had been following our progress on the ranch.
Look at that. What is that? There's a helicopter right up there.
Yeah, it sure is.
You can hear it.
That dude's hovering right there.
I think somebody's watching us right now.
You know, as we come back together after a month, I thought it was important to evaluate the events.
There are people interested in what we're doing. I find that really intriguing. My suspicion is they've measured a similar phenomena, don't know what it is, and they want to compare notes. So what this tells us, though, is there are real government organizations who are interested in this phenomena and are taking it seriously. One of our theories is that the Uinta Basin looks like a very large radio antenna. It's a dish. Whatever these weird signals we're seeing, they're bouncing off of it and being focused to somewhere, just like a dish focuses the energy.
The data that we use to build this model comes from the United States Geologic Survey. We should all recognize this geography.
That's awesome.
Wow.
We are located where you see that graphic.
Right, almost dead center.
Yes. What I did was construct a 60,000 square kilometer mirror, and then producing a line of what you just described as radiation coming down from above, okay? So we're going to look at how those rays interact with and reflect from this surface.
Wow.
Jeez Louise.
This represents measurements of microwave frequencies that we had in the summer. We are looking at parallel rays of energy coming down from above.
If you'll look at the ones right in the center, they're being focused. And the ones at the edge, you can see there is a significant focus where these things are being brought to a point, and there's a big concentration of energy up here somewhere.
As we have obtained all of this data and evidence, I think now it is our responsibility to take this forward.
Now we've got indisputable evidence that there is a real phenomena that's happening that is unexplainable.
If this ranch can help us better understand the nature of the universe and perhaps confirm that we're not alone, this will indeed be the greatest science project and endeavor of all time.
Let's go.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Great. Looking forward to it.
Given the extraordinary events that have been observed and recorded over the last several months, I believe that we have a responsibility to take this forward in a more aggressive fashion.
We have indisputable proof that there is an unusual phenomenon that is not a normal occurrence. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to go back and do more experiments. I can't wait to see what is out there. Skinwalker Ranch may hold secrets to the universe that we've yet to uncover.